So I want to talk a little bit about the mystery of why there are so few entry-level jobs in the tech world. I mean, wouldn't it make sense to hire someone that's cheaper because it's cheaper labor? In fact, that's where you would think where the exploitation would be happening. You know, people want to hire cheap labor because they're cheap. Yet in the tech industry, for whatever reason, you don't really see many jobs out there. There's a lot of jobs for seniors, but not for juniors. So what's going on here? And, there's a story I like to tell because, I talked to the senior in this field, and he was saying, one time I had this junior working. I gave him a feature. I gave him a task, and he struggled with it. And after 1 week, he came up to me. He's like, you know what? I worked really hard on this. I couldn't figure it out. I don't know how to do this. And the senior goes and he's like, all right, here you go. Let me show you. And in 15 minutes, he completes the task. So the junior is really smart. So he's like, why did you give me this task if it only took you 15 minutes? What a waste of time. I spent a week on this. And so the senior was like, listen, if I didn't give you this task, then I would have to go find something else to give you. And there, right there, that's kind of where the problem is. You see, in the tech world, it's not like we're moving haystacks from the barn into the truck or something, where there's a very limited, improvement. Someone that's fast and someone who's slow. I think they were saying a lumberjack. The fastest lumberjack is 3 times faster than the average lumberjack. But in coding, the difference between a really good coder and a mediocre one is exponential. It's gigantic. And so that's kind of what's going on here. So let's look at this from a company perspective, right? So let's imagine that you're paying this junior developer $10 an hour. I mean, that's below minimum wage, right? So let's make this illegally cheap. And then you have a senior who's getting paid $100 an hour. That's $200,000 in salary wise, right? So if it took a junior 40 hours to complete a task, that means it cost the company $400. But if it took the senior 15 minutes to solve the problem, it costs the company $25. So looking from that vantage point, you can kind of see what's going on here. And so what's going on is that it costs the company more. We had the mentor juniors. They're not as good. They're slower. Their quality is not good. I mean, and it's more expensive at the same time. So then that's why nobody wants to hire juniors. And senior levels, on the other hand, are cheaper, faster, better. They can see the wider scale. They don't need to be handheld and all this stuff. So that's kind of the whole reason why breaking into the industry is really hard. And it also explains why once you're in the industry, you kind of are living in the promised land, the land of milk and honey, if you will, because it's really hard to get there. And so so then the industry creates this moat, a moat where it's really difficult to break in. And generally speaking, that moat is 3 years of work experience. Once you have that, then most companies get comfortable. They feel good. They're like, you know what? I can trust this guy. And so that's why the first 3 years, you got to grind. At that point, you gotta understand you're very expensive. Even if you're getting paid $5, $10 an hour, you're very expensive, both on attention and on cost. And so if I were you, if you're starting out, take in any job you can get, any opportunity, because at that point, you're just trying to get exposure to the industry. You just want to get those numbers up, you want to get that experience up, so that when you do cross the 3-year threshold, you'll be a really valuable commodity, especially in the world of AI, because now AI is going to amplify the productiveness of seniors, and that could be you. So push hard, and keep working.